The Chilling Life of Richard the Iceman Kuklinski. Richard the Iceman Kuklinski was a notorious American hitman and contract killer who terrorized the criminal underworld with his cold-blooded murders. His life story is a chilling journey into the heart of darkness, filled with gruesome deeds and shocking revelations. In this video, we delve into 13 shocking and repugnant facts about the life of the Iceman, showcasing the dark and disturbing side of one of the most infamous figures in criminal history. Fact number 1. Early signs of a serial killer. Born on April 11, 1935, in Jersey City, New Jersey, Richard Kuklinski showed early signs of violent behavior, reflective of his turbulent home life. His father, Stanley Kuklinski, was an abusive alcoholic who beat his children, creating a hostile environment that deeply affected Richard. Kuklinski's tendency to torture animals as a child was a disturbing early indicator of his psychopathic tendencies. These behaviors, emerging in his formative years, foreshadowed his eventual path as a remorseless killer. Number 2. A family man by day. In 1961, Richard Kuklinski married Barbara Pedrassi, and the couple went on to have 3 children together. They settled in suburban New Jersey, and to those who knew him in the community, Kuklinski presented the image of a normal family man. He skillfully maintained a facade of a successful businessman, concealing his dark and criminal activities. This double life was a stark contrast to the sinister deeds he carried out in secret. Barbara later revealed that she had suspicions about her husband's involvement in illegal activities, but she lived in fear of his violent and unpredictable nature, which deterred her from confronting him. The stark dichotomy between Kuklinski's public persona and his hidden criminal life is a chilling aspect of his story. Number 3. Contract killing career. Richard Kuklinski's career as a contract killer spanned several decades and left a trail of over 100 murders in its wake. His proficiency in eliminating targets was chillingly extensive, and he employed a variety of gruesome methods to carry out these killings. These methods included shooting, poisoning, and strangulation, among others. However, one of the most notorious aspects of his modus operandi was his penchant for dismembering his victims' bodies and freezing them. This chilling practice was designed to obscure the time of death, making it difficult for investigators to determine when the murders had occurred. This signature method earned Kuklinski the notorious moniker the Iceman. Astonishingly, his criminal activities remained largely unnoticed by law enforcement for many years, allowing him to continue his reign of terror until his eventual capture and arrest in 1986. Number 4. The Iceman moniker. Richard Kuklinski earned the chilling moniker the Iceman due to his method of freezing some of his victims' bodies. This chilling technique was employed as a deliberate strategy to delay the discovery and forensic analysis of his crimes. By preserving the bodies in this manner, he aimed to obscure the time of death, making it more challenging for law enforcement to piece together the evidence. This method exemplified Kuklinski's ruthless cunning and his commitment to eluding capture. Number 5. Eliminating competition. Kuklinski's criminal career was not limited to being a prolific hitman, he was also a cunning strategist. He recognized that eliminating potential competition within the criminal underworld was essential for his own survival and success. Kuklinski targeted other criminals, including rival mobsters and individuals who posed a threat to his criminal operations. By eliminating these competitors, he aimed to solidify his position, assert dominance, and curry favor with his criminal bosses. This calculated ruthlessness set him apart as a formidable figure in the criminal world. Number 6. A shocking confession. In a shocking turn of events, Richard Kuklinski confessed to the murder of NYPD detective Peter Calabro in 1980. This confession was a brazen act that underscored Kuklinski's audacity and utter lack of remorse, even when confronted by law enforcement. The murder of a law enforcement officer was a particularly audacious crime that sent shockwaves through the criminal justice system. Kuklinski's willingness to openly admit to such a crime demonstrated his sense of invincibility and a disregard for the consequences he might face. Number 7. Evading capture. Despite committing numerous heinous crimes over several decades, Richard Kuklinski managed to evade capture for an extended period. This remarkable ability to stay off the radar of law enforcement agencies was a testament to his extraordinary cunning and ruthlessness. Law enforcement agencies struggled to apprehend him due to his meticulous planning, ability to cover his tracks, and his constant vigilance. His capacity to elude capture only added to the mystique surrounding the Iceman and the fear he instilled in those who crossed his path. Number 8. Contract killings for the mob. Richard Kuklinski operated as a contract killer, and his clientele included some of the most prominent crime families in the United States. He provided his lethal services to organizations such as the Gambino and DeCavalcante crime families, which were infamous for their involvement in organized crime. Kuklinski's association with these powerful criminal entities allowed him to continue his reign of terror without fear of reprisal. His contracts ranged from settling disputes to eliminating rivals, and his efficient and ruthless approach made him a highly sought-after hitman within these criminal circles. Number 9. Psychopathic calculations. Throughout interviews and conversations with journalists, Richard Kuklinski displayed a disturbing level of detail when describing his murders. He delved into the motives, methods, and psychological aspects of his crimes with chilling precision. His cold, calculated, and indifferent approach to taking human lives horrified not only the public but also experts in the field of criminology. Kuklinski's willingness to dissect and analyze his actions, often with an unsettling lack of remorse, provided a glimpse into the mind of a psychopath who operated without empathy or moral restraint. His interviews served as a chilling reminder of the depths to which human depravity can descend. Number 10. Cold-blooded experimentation. Kuklinski's reputation for cruelty extended to his willingness to experiment with various killing methods. He didn't limit himself to conventional means of murder but explored alternative and often gruesome techniques. This included the use of cyanide, explosives, and other unconventional methods to dispatch his victims. Kuklinski's cold-blooded experimentation showcased his depravity and a disturbing fascination with perfecting his craft. He displayed a complete lack of empathy or remorse, viewing each killing as an opportunity to refine his sinister skills. Number 11. Body disposal in barrels. Richard Kuklinski employed unconventional and gruesome methods to dispose of the bodies of his victims. One of the most notorious of these methods involved placing the deceased bodies in barrels filled with liquid, often referred to as a chemical bath. The liquid was chosen to accelerate the decomposition and disintegration of the remains, making it extremely challenging for investigators to identify or recover the victims. This macabre approach added an extra layer of cruelty and horror to his crimes, underscoring the depths of his depravity and his desire to leave no trace of his heinous acts behind. Number 12. A shocking arrest. In 1986, Richard Kuklinski's life of crime finally came to an end when law enforcement authorities apprehended him. Subsequently, he faced trial and was later convicted for the murders of several individuals. The scale and brutality of his crimes, as revealed during his trial, sent shockwaves throughout both the public and law enforcement. The extent of his homicidal activities, combined with the callousness with which he carried them out, horrified everyone involved in the legal proceedings. Kuklinski's arrest and subsequent imprisonment marked the conclusion of a dark and disturbing chapter in criminal history, leaving an indelible impression on those who encountered the details of his crimes. Number 13. Death in prison. Richard Kuklinski spent the remainder of his life behind bars, serving multiple life sentences for his numerous convictions. His prison term began after his arrest in 1986, and he remained incarcerated until his death. On March 5, 2006, Kuklinski passed away while still imprisoned, marking the conclusion of a dark and violent life. His death in prison served as a fitting end to his shocking saga, ensuring that he would never again pose a threat to society. Kuklinski left behind a legacy of brutality and terror that continues to intrigue and disturb those who study his life and crimes.